similar. Alright, so today we have another speed reviews video. This is where I try to make them quick, but they're like mini quick reviews on a bunch of products I've been testing. So a lot of these I've shown in like try on hauls, first impression videos, and now I'm giving you my updated thoughts as I've tested them more. There's a lot today. I was looking back on my videos to find my last speed reviews and could not believe it's been 4 months. I literally thought it had been a couple months. Everything will be linked down below in the description box. I also pin a comment with the full description box there as well. Parker cannot decide if he wants to be in or out right now. I've stood up about 35 times. Where do I even start here? I feel like I have a lot of rejects, but this is the reality of testing a bunch of makeup, is that the vast majority of things don't work out, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I always like to tell you guys what to buy, but it's also nice to know what not to buy and what not to spend your money on. Let's start off with the product I despise probably the most out of all these. This is the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Styling Gel, so this is a newer release from Maybelline. I have been trying to make this work. Basically, the end result, no matter which way I apply this, how much product I wipe off, how little I try to use, I feel like my brows always end up looking blocky with this and just too filled in. I don't think there's been a single day that I've applied this where I liked how my brows turned out. And I've tried wiping it off on paper towels, just wiping it off on here, which is what I normally do, like spending friggin' forever going like this, wiping off the product. I think it's a combo of the brush just picking up too much product to begin with, but then also the actual formula of, you know, the liquid product in here, I just think is too pigmented. I think they need to like dilute it a bit. The unfortunate thing is it does have nice hold and like lasting power. So if they make a clear version of this, I might pick that up because I mean, the hold is pretty nice. I'm excited to never be putting that on my brows again. I do want to offer an alternative though for this one. I like the Maybelline Express Brow so much more. Same brand, so similar price point, and I just feel like this one is less pigmented. It still has nice hold, and I use this almost every single day now, by the way. If you see my palm, self-tanner. Alright, the Huda Beauty Glowish Concealer. So this says Sheer Concealer. I have the shade 1.5 Fair Cool. I do love the shade of this for like when I have tanner on. I do think it's nice and brightening because of the shade. I would agree that it's definitely sheer. This product, I do like the glow of. Feel like it has a nice sheen to it. It is moisturizing. It never looks like dry underneath my eyes. For me personally, how I do my makeup, I don't feel like it's something that I can't live without. But if you're someone who really likes just like a sheer, brightening, super natural kind of product, might be worth trying. The Cali Ray Surf Proof Setting Spray says clean, hydrating, and long wear. This does have a really nice fine, like very fine mist, and it doesn't have a fragrance. The thing with this one for me is that it's one of those setting sprays where it just kind of like sits on top of my skin, and I feel like it makes my makeup look worse. It never absorbs in, and you know how like MAC Fix Plus just melts everything together. Catrice Dewy Glow. There's just so many setting sprays that I absolutely love that I feel like really do make your skin look less makeup-y, and whether it's changing the finish of the foundation or just melting everything together or making things stay on longer. There's different uses for different kinds of setting spray, but for me, this isn't one that I want to use because it just, I feel like initially makes my makeup look worse and sits on top of the skin. Almost like how the Charlotte Tilbury one does for me. It doesn't look quite right. This is one that's definitely newer to me, so I was debating including it in this one, but I know how I feel about it and I'm going to be donating it, so I'm like, might as well include it in this video. But it's the Then I Met You SPF. So this is SPF 50. I was very excited to try this one because the Then I Met You brand cleansing balm, if you have not tried that and you like a thick, like moisturizing cleansing balm that friggin' removes everything, that one's incredible. So I was very excited to try their SPF since I like the other product from that brand that I've tried. This one though just looks too white. It does have a white cast, and I just find it to feel a little too sunscreeny and like slightly greasy. I don't love this one. Actually, let's just get another SPF out of the way that I did not like at all. This is the Bliss Block Star, but the sheer liquid daily sunscreen, SPF 50. So this is different than the one I love. I love the original Bliss Block Star in like the squeeze tube. That one I've raved about so many times. I'll link a couple of videos down below if you want to like hear my full thoughts on it, but beautiful, matte, soft, adds a little tint. This one is just like super white, classic sunscreen feel. At first I was like, okay, hate this for my face, but maybe I can use it as like body sunscreen. Even on my body, I feel like it takes away the color that I get from my tanner because it's that white. Again, too white. Might see if my dad wants this because he doesn't mind white sunscreens actually. Don't worry, I give him the good stuff too. All right, let's talk about a body product that I have been loving. This is the Ciate Dewy Sticks Body Oil, but it's in this like stick form, which is so cool. I was filming like the close-up for this before, you know, I was getting ready, and I looked at the bottom and it just says 111 on the bottom. If you know my thing with the number 11. I personally like the smell of this. It smells like coconut, but it also has this like really nostalgic, almost like a little bit sunscreeny smell. Like, you know, like a coconut SPF as a kid. It kind of smells like that. It kind of smells like surfboard wax. To me, that's like a really nostalgic childhood smell living in San Diego. So I personally like it. Once I spray like perfume and stuff on my body, it's not like I'm noticing smelling this. I have on my chest right now, and I think this is so nice for people who want that glow but are worried about product like transferring onto their clothes, or if you're wearing a white dress or whatever. This is just so nice because you can just roll it on. It's not tinted, so you don't have to worry about that. It does stay, I mean, it is like a body oil like it says, so it stays a little tacky oily, but I don't find it to be like uncomfortable, or I'm not like worrying about it, you know, throughout the day. And because it's just a straight up oil, it doesn't have any kind of glitter. So if you just like the straight like dewy look without having tint or glitter, you might really like this one. And I like this in a stick too. It's nice for travel. Okay, the Flower Beauty Low Light Liquid Contour. This is in the shade Light. It's really unfortunate because the shade of this and the tone is really nice. It's like a nice neutral tone for contouring. However, it is so difficult to blend. So patchy to the point that you literally have to like hardcore put some pressure into your bronzer brush in order to actually get it to blend. You shouldn't have to work that hard. There's other drugstore liquid contour products that are good. Just skip this one. Why? You know, why do that to yourself? This is one of those products that I actually think is unique because there's just not that many products like this on the market. This is the Sephora Sheer Matte Lip Balm in the shade Pink. Okay, this isn't really pink at all. I would say it's like a berry, nudie berry kind of, but it's basically exactly what it says. It's a sheer matte lip balm. There's just not that many balms out there that are matte and that have a little bit of color. A lot of the products like this tend to have like a sheen or a glossy, but I think this will actually be really nice for someone who doesn't like a glossy lip, but who doesn't want to have to like put on their lip product in the mirror. Like if you're just in the car going somewhere fast and you just want to like put on a balm and have it have a little bit of color, this might be nice. But this also isn't too like dry matte. It still feels like a lip balm. It doesn't accentuate like the lip lines. I feel like a lot of other matte lip products can kind of do that, and this one, my back from sitting on this floor, this one is nice. It's a good option for that combo. Can I lean against this wall? Okay, this is unfortunate. So I got the mini House Labs lip oil. I love the full size one in like the pink color. I'll link the exact one I love down below. Just an FYI, if you're trying out the mini, don't. The packaging on here virtually makes the product worthless. When you pull this out, it gets so little product, like barely any product literally on the applicator, that you have to dip your thing in literally 30 times to get any kind of product out. So just get the full size. I love the applicator on the full size one. I love the formula of the House Labs lip oil. I just think they should either discontinue the mini or you gotta redo the packaging because it's just a waste of money. Like, you can't get it out. Next up, we have a drugstore blush that I've been loving. It's the NYX Sweet Cheeks Blush Mousse. My favorite one is Coralicious. This one I thought might be a nice, really peachy, summery kind of color, and it just looks too orange on my skin tone. But if you have a deeper skin tone, this probably would look really beautiful. It's the shade Almost Famous. So this one I don't like, but for me, Coralicious is beautiful. I like that this is soft matte, but it doesn't immediately dry down. Like, you do have some time to work with it. It doesn't get patchy at all. It's easy to blend. You have some wiggle room as far as time to blend it out. So if you like a matte liquid blush, those can be hard to find. I do like this one in a drugstore. This is the Face Hack Precision Sculpting Bronzer in the shade Fair Neutral Undertones. I definitely don't agree that this has neutral undertones whatsoever. It definitely pulls, at least on my skin, an undertone, whether I'm putting this on fair skin or my shade right now, tanner. it definitely pulls like very warm. The other thing is you get such a small amount of product in here. You get 0.13 ounces, so it actually makes it very expensive. I think it's cheap the way it's priced on Sephora, but you have to always check the ounces, especially of cream products, because sometimes it's a little deceiving. And the other thing is you have to actually use quite a bit of this. Like I go like this and go over my skin a few times, because on me, I don't find that this is one you can build. You kind of just have to immediately go in with a decent amount of product if you don't want it to lift up your foundation and coverage underneath. So I do like straight up applying it to my skin, but you got to do it a few times, and then I just tap it in with my bronzer brush. But if I use a little bit and try and blend it out, it definitely picks up what's underneath. I would say the finish is a nice like kind of satin matte finish. It doesn't look too glowy or anything. I do like the finish of it, but for me it's just one of those products where it's very like, it's fine. Okay, this blush though is so pretty. This is the Ciate Dewy Blush Glossy Cheek Tint in the shade Watermelon. It's basically exactly what that sounds like, glossy cheek tint. This is one of those products that if I have a full face on, I'm not using. This is one that I love to use when I'm just going on a walk, running errands, don't have a lot of makeup on, maybe just have like a tinted SPF on. It looks so youthful and plumping. Love the shade of it. At the moment, my skin is normal, but I think especially if you have dry skin or mature skin and you just want like a sheer wash of color that looks really beautiful, I think this is a great option. I like applying this with my fingers the best. It does have a slight watermelon scent, which I wish it didn't, but it's not terrible. This is one of those products that I was so excited to try because I feel like it's just one of those e.l.f. products that I hadn't tried yet. I feel like I've heard mostly good things about it. It's the e.l.f. Big Mood mascara, but you know what, after I like talked about this in a video, a lot of you said the same thing I did, that you were unimpressed by this, so I don't know. The wand is so big, and I just find that a lot of the times when the wand is like comically big like this, it just has the opposite effect of like big volume, because you can't actually work it in there and like really get it in your lashes. A lot of mascaras that I don't like, when I apply them on top of a lash primer, it can like totally transform it, give it a ton more volume, give it a totally different look. So I was thinking like, oh, I'll use it in that way. I tried it with 3 different lash primers. I'm testing a lot of ones right now, so they're not in this video, but I'll be updating. I'm testing literally like 5 lash primers right now. They can make a huge difference with mascara, but with this mascara just still looked like so mediocre. Not a lot of volume, just very average. Like I just would not recommend this mascara. I think there's way better drugstore ones out there. Every now and then there are products where I'm like, I just cannot tell what I think about this. I try it so many times. Sometimes I really like it. Let me just tell you the product. It's the Julep Cushion Concealer. I feel like when I don't have foundation on, I like this, but for some reason when I have foundation on, I feel like it kind of doesn't mix great with it. This is in the shade 200 Nude. I like the tone and nude of it. I like the tone and shade of it. It has a nice neutral undertone. It has a cushion, so you just click it up from the bottom. I feel like this looks the best with my finger when I tap it out rather than a brush, and I do like to let it sit on for maybe like 20 seconds before tapping it out with my finger. Can get medium coverage. It's definitely not like a full coverage concealer. I guess it just seems very average to me. I never put it on and think like, dang, my under eyes look great. Overall, don't think it's worth the money. It's not a terrible product. I just don't think it's worth the money. Okay, these liners. These are the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Lip Shaper Plumping Lip Liner. I love the shade, this one, Puffy Nude. It's the one I have on right now. It's a really nice, like natural shaping kind of color if you're around my skin tone. Basically, I wish they made this exact shade, just not in this formula, because this is a weird product. The plumping is no joke. I feel like these give, I have it on right now. I've had it on for almost an hour now, and it still has like massive tingle. It's not even tingle. It's like, have you ever had those noodles, the like super spicy ramen noodles? You know how your lips are kind of like burning and on fire? That's how this feels. I just think, why? You know, I just think for like 90% of people, it would probably be too uncomfortable to want to apply this every day. Y'all need to like tone down the plumping by about 80%. And I don't notice any like crazy plumping with this. I think you'd be better off getting like a plumping lip gloss, or just getting a lip gloss in general that gives the effect of that without having like the uncomfortable tingle. This mascara is the new Maybelline Waterproof Falsies Surreal Mascara. So this one, when I first tried it in a try on haul video. I don't think I liked it. I think it looked like just too light and kind of blah. This is one of those mascaras that it really depends on the lash day I'm having. Sometimes it looks kind of fluttery and nice. Like today I feel like I got a pretty nice flutter. For me though, this is definitely a one and done. Like I don't like how it looks with two layers. It makes it look worse. I don't think this is a super voluminizing mascara at all. I think it's just if someone wants a very waterproof, which we'll get to in a second, kind of just more natural fluffy mascara. The waterproofness of this mascara, I just find this to be so annoying and difficult to remove that if the result of it was incredible, you know, it might be worth it. But for me, it's not the kind of lash look I love. And by the way, I forgot to mention, I do have on corner, and not in the clips that you're seeing, but after, like right now, after I filmed the try on clips, I did add on just corner lashes, the press on, my Kiss ones, no glue press on, just one little thing on each side. But what you're looking at in the try on thing is just the mascara. It's not one I'm going to be reaching for. The Sephora bronzer in the shade Amalfi. This is another one of those products where some days, depending on what I have underneath, it goes on beautifully, it looks nice, I like the color, and then other days it can just look very patchy. When a product's like that, it's just not something that I would recommend, because when there are products that work every day, no matter what you have on underneath and how tacky your face is and whatever, I just don't think it makes sense to spend the money on a product that isn't the case. It is fully matte, I will say that, it's fully matte, but because the formula is kind of iffy, I would say pass on this one. Okay, product I've been loving for the face. It's the Catrice All Over Glow Tint. So it says you can use it in multiple ways on eyes, lips, or cheeks. I show you applying it on my eyes today. My favorite way is just using this as liquid highlighter. All three of these shades actually work for me. The one I have on my cheeks today is the darkest kind of gold shade, which is Sun Dip. I like all three shades. These are really nice. You have time to work with before they dry down. They don't give that like gross stripey effect. If you like the really beaming highlighter but you have textured skin, these look beautiful. I will say on your eyes, they're a little bit trickier. If you apply an eye primer and then put this on over top, it almost like does this weird thing where it just mattifies and kind of disappears. You can see it happening on this eye. So I'm mostly recommending this for the face, but I think these are great. The drugstore Catrice. Drugstore product that's similar, but that I like way less and that on me looks stripey is the e.l.f. Halo Glow highlight. It's in the shade Rose Quartz. I just find that anytime I put this on, I just don't love how it looks. I feel like it has a little bit too much texture and glitter. It does give that stripey effect, just like the Charlotte Tilbury one does on me. The highlight is a no, but then the blush, which is not really a blush, it's more of, I mean, depending on your skin tone, but it's a pretty light, like pink shade. So I use it as a blush topper kind of highlighter. It's in the shade Candlelight. This one is pretty as a highlight or like a, you know, blush topper in that way, where it gives this like really pretty kind of peachy, pinky glow. I love this kind of look on the cheeks. I don't put it all over my cheek. I just apply it right where I would a highlighter. Has way less glitter and is just more of like a nice sheen, blends in better than the highlight does. So I feel like they should have just used the formula of this but made the shades lighter, but it seems to be a different formula than the actual highlighter. On that same note, the e.l.f. contour. So the lightest shade is definitely a contour shade. The shade Fair Light has that like cool contour undertone. The shade Up, which is light medium, is definitely just more of a cream bronzer. I like the tone of it a lot, but for like cream bronzer, not for contours. The shades in this whole line are just kind of like odd to me, but I can make it work. It's not my favorite formula to use, but I don't ever like applying it or like the end result that much to where I want to use it on a daily basis. You do have to work fast with it. I feel like sometimes it can look a little patchy too, depending on like what's underneath. If you like a very brightening, super glowy base that's moisturizing, you will probably love this. It's the JOA Hydra Glow Primer with Hyaluronic Acid. This has a really nice feel to it. It's moisturizing. Whoa, that just squirted all over my watch. It's moisturizing, but has a nice like, it's not too slippery. It has a very slight amount of tackiness, just the perfect amount for putting makeup on top of. Doesn't have a fragrance. It's very glowy, very brightening. It does have like a little bit of a pearly white like undertone to it. Not to where it makes my skin look too white, but if you have like a deeper skin tone than me, it might. Or you could just like mix it in with a tinted SPF or something probably to make it even glowier. I love the glow level. Like it's an intense glow. It just feels good on the skin. It doesn't look like glittery. It doesn't look highlightery. It just is like this beautiful sheen. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be discontinued. Like, I think this is probably limited edition, so just a heads up on that. But this is the Too Faced Moon Crush Shooting Star. This is a beautiful champagne highlighter. I've been loving this. I did apply it today on top of the Catrice today, just so I could show you. I'm just trying to show you as many products as possible. You don't need that underneath to like get this kind of result. It is a intense like beam, but you can use a little bit light, like if you just dip your brush in once or use like a bigger fluffier brush, you can get less of an intense highlight. I really love using this mixed in with the L'Oreal blush, the like matte blush shade that I talked about in July Raves and Rejects. I think I have a video clip, so I'll insert that here, but these two together are beautiful. It's a beautiful champagne color. I've been wanting to reach for it a lot. It looks nice on top of texture. I also have it on my inner corner today on my eyes as well. This Uma Beauty powder, this is the Trippin' Smooth powder in the shade Light. I believe they have another loose powder, which I do want to try. The packaging is super cool. It's like this donut shaped kind of thing, and you just like twist it to get product in the middle so you don't have to tap it or anything. The powder is extremely fine. I think it's probably one of the more finely milled powders, like very soft. But my issue with this is every time I've used this, it takes away any kind of coverage that I have from my foundation underneath, and it also looks a little bit chalky. Like, it does make my skin look a little too dry and it just never looks flattering. Today I put a little bit of the Makeup Forever powder foundation around my nose area, and then I pressed later on like this over top. If you're someone who has a product in your collection like this, like a loose powder that you don't like and that takes away the coverage, you could use a powder foundation, any kind of powder foundation you like, underneath first, and then kind of apply this over top to still kind of smooth it out and get that kind of effect, but so that you have some coverage underneath. And because I have the two loose powders now that I love, I'll link down below, this one for me is like nowhere near even the blur factor. Like, it's not as blurring, and it also, just for what I just mentioned, doesn't look nearly as good on my skin. So this one's a pass for me. The Milk Makeup Sculpt Stick. So this is in the shade Toasted. It looks like this is the mini. This is the full size. You have 0.19 ounces. This is a very cool toned, like gray toned contour shade. Sometimes this can look too gray toned. Lately I've been like experimenting with nose contouring. I don't feel like I need to or anything, but it's just always fun to try different things with makeup. So that's how I used it today. It's not totally matte. You know, for contour, you usually don't want something with like a sheen, and this one does have a bit of a sheen to it. It's nice because it is creamy, like it doesn't feel too difficult to blend. I have to use a very small amount, and I'll just put it like right where I want to kind of chisel more, and then still go in with like a warmer bronzer over top, like a different cream product over top. I just have to use a really small amount. Okay, just took a little back break and a snack break. These are so good. This is definitely the superior flavor of the Good & Gather, the coconut pineapple. Oh my god, it's so good. Yum. This is the Traceless Beauty bronzer in the shade Medium. So this one, the formula of is interesting. It's like a putty kind of bronzer, but leaning more cream formula. This is the shade Medium. So I think I just need the shade Light because Medium does definitely pull too warm on me. The thing I like is that it is a soft matte finish. I've been using this a lot, and I do feel like the majority of the time I don't mind the way it looks. I think just the shade is off for me, so that kind of like changes how I overall feel about it looking on my skin. But formula wise, I do think it's a nice just like matte putty formula. It does look different though depending on the brush you use, so just be aware of that. I like to use more of a dense brush with products like this because it's basically like a cream. Next up we have the Makeup by Mario. These are called plumping lip colors. I think I talked about this in a recent video, but these are just really interesting because, okay, first of all, they're not plumping at all. I just can't quite peg what the heck the formula of this is. Like, it's not a lip tint, it's not pigmented to be like a full-blown liquid lipstick, but it's also not sheer enough to be like a gloss, and it's not glossy enough to be a gloss. I don't know what the heck it is. I like the tones. Like, I actually really like the colors I have. I have Smoky Pink, Soft Nude, and Hot Pink. Soft Nude and Hot Pink are the two I use most often. I really like the colors of these. I just always feel like I need to add something after these have been on for like literally 20 minutes. They kind of just like disappear. I mean, you can see from the clip right here versus like how it looks now. It's been about an hour and I haven't touched up my lip, and I've had literally one sip of this, and other than that I've just been talking. So I'll add some more on right now so you can see the difference. And just one of those products that, again, it's kind of like, what's the point when there's better things on the market, you know? I will let you out, then you're gonna want to come back in. Anyways, moral of the story is, for the price, I would pass on these. Right, I've been really enjoying using the Too Faced Italian Spritz palette for like a peachy kind of look. If you have blue eyes, it can just really make your eyes pop. I did a whole shadow and schmooze where I like tried this palette. I basically used a lot of the same colors today with, in addition to that Catrice like liquid highlight thing. Every time I use this, I do really like the end result of my shadows. I don't use like half the shades in here, so if there's another similar peachy palette, I feel like I could probably get like a really similar look. So I don't necessarily feel like you like absolutely need this for this kind of look. The deepest purple shade, I love mixing it with this brown shade right here and smudging it as liner. Like I've been doing that a lot even if I don't use anything else in the other palette. There are a couple shades in here that are just kind of like misses or could be a little bit better. It's not like a super consistent, amazing formula as far as the shimmers. I don't think they're like exceptionally amazing eyeshadows. Maybe I'll try and recreate like this kind of look I've been doing just with a few single shadows or maybe like a drugstore palette or something, because I just don't feel like you need that whole palette just for doing this. Sorry for this stance that we're about to have, but my back's about to crack in half, so leaning against the wall. I don't think you guys care at this point. Okay, so this is the NYX Brow Glue. I have to say that so slow and think about it every time. This is the tinted one, and I actually haven't tried the clear version of this. I want to try it to see if there's a difference in formula, because for me, it has the like gluey, sticky feel, but it's actually not that holding. Like I don't find it to be super glued up, super like give you that really laminated look. So I'm just curious to try this against the clear one to see if there's a difference, because I've heard that the clear one is like very holding. The shade is like a little bit off for me. There's just something about it, not something that I would repurchase. Am I gonna edit this and like the whole time it's like focused on my knee or something? Hopefully not. Okay, the Huda Beauty Creamy Kohl Liner. I was excited to try this because this had a lot of good reviews on Sephora. It's a retractable liner. I'm always testing black liners, and there's like 4 other ones that I'm not featuring today that I'm like still trying to friggin' gather my thoughts on, because I do feel like you have to try them in a lot of different ways in different days, because it is weird, especially if you use it on the top. Depending on your eye primer, the same liner can transfer up depending on your eye primer, if you're using one or not. When I use the Anastasia eye primer, that product you truly notice a difference with. I really feel like it makes everything just kind of like stay on your lids. So if you have issues with transferring, I would try the Anastasia one. For me on the waterline, this transfers like crazy. It does bleed, it does transfer. If I'm using it and smudging on the top, it'll transfer up right here. Also, one thing I don't like is that this one does tend to go a bit blue. Some liners, when you're smudging them, they can have this like bluish undertone, and for me, I would rather it go grayish when you smudge it out than go blue. This one's a no for me. So Maybelline came out with new shades of the Lifter Gloss. So I have the one Bubblegum. On my skin tone, the color of this is very pink. It's definitely not like a sheer kind of pink shade. You have to use a little bit or else it's pretty much just straight up fuchsia. Let's apply a little bit right now. I feel like it doesn't give as much shine as I would like. It's nice in this way where you like really sheer it out. Like I use the tiniest dot of that right now. It's nice in that way, but I just have other glosses that are so much glossier. I reach for those over this one. Next up, we have a dry shampoo. This is the Living Proof. Parker has thoughts. This is his favorite dry shampoo. So Living Proof makes a darker bottle, which is like their normal one, and then this is the Advanced Clean one. I feel like I'd previously only tried the dark gray bottle, and I was kind of like, that one's fine. It's nothing special like for the price. It was kind of like, I have drugstore dry shampoos that do the same thing. This one I definitely like more than the normal dark bottle one. I feel like it gives a little more texture and volume. It's not the most volumizing. Like, I mean, I have it in right now and you can see the top of my hair after, you know, an hour and a half. So it's not like it's the hugest volume or anything. But for me on dark hair, if you don't shake this well or you hold it too close, it can be a little bit white. But if you hold it far away and shake it good, usually it's not that white. And even if it is a little bit white, you can like zhuzh it in, blend it in, and it goes away. It's not completely invisible, but it's fine. I like it. I don't think I'm like so obsessed with it that I would have to repurchase this once it empties out. For me, I feel like my number one's the Eva NYC dry shampoo in the yellow bottle because it's drugstore, it works great, and it smells friggin' incredible. This one, the scent, what even is it? It's just like the Living Proof scent. It's nothing special. It doesn't smell bad, but it's definitely, to me, it doesn't smell great. I feel like I already talked about this, but I cannot remember if I mentioned this as a reject or like when I talked about this, but This is the Joa Eye Serum Concealer. This is one of my least favorite concealers I've ever tried. It just looks so dry, instantly settles into my under eyes and makes me look way older. Overall, just major pass. Don't get that one. Coming down to the last few here. Wow, we have so many products. This is the It Cosmetics Superhero No Tug Shadow Stick. This is in the Pearl shade. These as an all over shadow stick, like on your lid, are terrible. I have another shade which isn't in this bin right now, but the Champagne shade, both of them on your lid are not good. They're just not pigmented enough once you blend them out for like all over shadow sticks. If they just titled this like Inner Corner Brightener and marketed it differently, I think in that way it's nice. The question is it worth the price for that? Because like it is really pretty when you don't have to blend it out. So you just pop it right on the inner corner. It does give a nice pop. Looks nice and bright white. It's a nice like pearly shade. It's not glittery. If you're someone who uses an inner corner brightening shade a lot, you might like the white one, but don't get this thinking you're gonna put it all over the lid, because in that way it's not great. Similar kind of concept is this by Hard Candy. It's the Bubbly Eyeshadow Marker Shimmer. This one's like a champagne kind of shade. The thing with this is that you do have to layer it quite a bit, but you can get a pretty sheen if you layer it. If you're someone who just wants a little bit of a sheen on top of other shadows you're already putting on, not quite as pigmented as I would want for all over the lid, but sometimes I do use this on the inner corner. Next up is the Maybelline Vinyl. Oh my god, how many times have I said that on YouTube? I feel like every time I go to say this word. It's vinyl, yeah. Vinyl ink. This is in the shade 15 Peachy. So for me, the shade is definitely a no. It looks like just way too peach on me, and I always end up kind of putting something on top and trying to make it work. I did order 2 or 3 other shades of this because I do really like the formula. It's interesting. It does have like a tacky-ish kind of feel as it dries down. Like you can feel it on your lips, but it stays really well, and I like that it has a bit of a sheen. So if you're someone who likes the kind of satin lip look and you want something long lasting, or even to use as like a base and then put a gloss over top, I do like the formula of these, obviously to the point enough where I did want to order other shades. So I'll update you as I try the other shades. I ordered like a really deep one I thought would be pretty for fall. Last product. I'm editing this down to probably like 30 minutes, but I've been sitting here for almost 2.5 hours on the floor. Last one, here we go. This is the Joa Glassify Gloss. I love like this kind of pink tone, so I thought this might be really pretty. Unfortunately, first of all, the applicator on this is so cheap. It's like I always say Dollar Tree packaging, but it truly is. It's like the cheapest kind of applicator I feel like you could possibly put on this. And again, not a lot of product gets on the applicator itself. And every time I put this on, I'm just like, again, it's one of those products that I feel like I need to add something else to. It doesn't quite give me the plump lip look I like. It has like, okay, can I just not smell today? What's happening? I feel like I have noticed a scent in the past when I applied this, but right now I can like barely smell it. It almost looks like a little bit too metallic. Oh my God. Everything will be linked down below in the description box. I hope you guys enjoyed this speed reviews video. I will have my past ones linked down below as well. Let me know what you think if you've tried any of these products. I feel like I can't focus right now. I'm like trying to do the outro. I've said this 10 times. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to try out. Yeah, this Joa Gloss. Ugh. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye. Hi, sweet boy.